Okay, you might not have been in comedy sets before. The answer to questions is woo! Okay, so how many people here are from Belgium? Okay, that's the most exciting Belgian scene in the last 6 months. How many people here are from France? Woo! Okay, well, a new one. From the UK, other than Tom. Okay, not that many. Anybody from Tanzania? That's a shame, I have really good Tanzania material. Anybody from Germany? No? Okay. Well, as Quentin introduced, I'm from Ireland. My name's Sean FitzGerald, which is a bit of a giveaway there. But actually, I grew up in Germany. So, a little bit of a mixed background. Being German, Irish. A lot of the Belgians in the room now, about 30% of you are thinking, holy shit, is this guy here just to walk through and go to France? Or is he staying? Whereas everybody who knows Irish is like, about 60% of you are thinking, yeah, this guy's probably just drunk and doesn't know where he is. And the last 40% are thinking, this guy fucking sucks at maths. Jesus Christ. But yeah, being Irish and German growing up was a bit of a mixed bag. The German side of you means everything has to be done perfectly correct, right. It has to be done exactly correct. We must do it properly, we must do it correctly, we must do it exactly correct. But then the Irish side is like, it's okay if we do it tomorrow, though. That's not too bad. So that's why I didn't prepare my set tonight, because I was like, fuck it, maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. But that's okay, but I'm here. I don't have notes, because I lost them, because I've been drinking. So if I ever pause and just look around, it's me forgetting that I didn't bring notes. But also, obviously while this orgy is going on behind this wall, you might notice I'm hanging this ring out here. Not on purpose, it's not me advertising I've had sex once. I did have a son recently. Yay! Thank you very much. The standard reply. He's actually 7. But if I say I have a 7-year-old, I don't get applause. Which is weird, because having a baby is a lot easier than keeping a baby alive for 7 years. Having a baby is something that, given what we've heard tonight, all of us have been studying online for a very long time. Some of us are quite good at it, apparently. Maybe not the baby part, but the preparation. It's something I've been practicing, I'd say, since I was 11 or 12 years old on my own, researching online. Then when I turned 27, I started practicing with other people, which was pretty cool. And then I hit 30 and marriage happened, and then a baby happened. And having a baby is pretty cool. Obviously, it lets everybody know you've had sex, which is brilliant. Check out the evidence. All those guys in school, nope, you're wrong. I got one. Proof. And it also gives me a lot of other options now when I'm in a shop, browsing the lightsabers. It looks like I'm a good dad, even though my son hates Star Wars, which has taught me a lot. Number 1, kids don't know shit about movies. And number 2, you think you make a lot of money, and then your kids are like, no, you don't. My son told me recently that for this Christmas, he wants to get the new Oculus Rift thing. And I'm starting to show my age now when I don't know the names of things. So when my parents said the Pocket Man monsters that you play with on your game PlayStation, I said, God, my parents are so lame. My son now looks at me like that. And it's, he wants this Oculus Rift thing. And I'm like, okay, how much does that cost? I look it up online, it's like $2,500 for an Oculus Rift. I'm like, that is pricey. And, I thought I made money. I don't, apparently. My son said, you're poor. Every YouTuber I watch has one of these. And they're all way younger than you, which can be quite defeating in the face of things. And then I start to justify it. I think to myself, well, you know what? I could probably eke out $2,500 worth of research on getting your little sibling next out of that Oculus Rift. But for a kid that's gonna probably just dump this in a few days, it's not worth it. So props to my son for making me feel poor, but also for proving that I have sex, which is fantastic. So, swings and roundabouts. So anybody who's considering having kids, there you go. There's the upside and the downside. You'll be poor, but you get to tell people you had sex. And I can't remember where I was going to segue with that, so segue.
Don't bother. Quentin doesn't.
There you go. That's the thing. It's kind of hard to come up and do porn material when the people before you have shown that they are connoisseurs that know way more about it than you. So I'll just move on and talk about other topics that interest us, like the lockdown. That's right, everybody's pretty bored of lockdown. That used to get a cheer, it doesn't get a cheer anymore. But yeah, during the lockdown, I had a lot of interesting career changes. I'm sure many of us has. We've spoken about the arts. Obviously, I wasn't hugely successful at stand-up comedy during the lockdown, so I had to look for other jobs. I wasn't successful before the lockdown either. Nobody asks about that, so that's okay. So I tried a few different jobs during the lockdown. First off, obviously, you're locked at home. First thing you try is to be self-employed. So I gave that a good go. Took out some of my savings, all €20, and invested in myself. But being self-employed did not work out, unfortunately. I did get fired, which kind of sucked. The boss did not like how much I masturbated at work. So that was tough. Tried a few other jobs, went on, tried modeling. I don't know if anybody here is into men's fitness magazines. Definitely, you must know me. Come on. Yeah, joking with a compliment for you. I got one guy on side in the crowd, yeah. His girlfriend's like, yeah, he does. She's laughing because she's like, he does, and he has too many of them. But yeah, so I gave that a go for a while. Tried male modeling. It kind of went well. In superstardom, in like say music, when you get to superstardom, you get to the point where you just have one name, like Madonna. I'm trying to think of other examples. I know there are, I can't remember, but like Beyonce, Lady Gaga, 2 words, but still, the one title. If you're a men's magazine aficionado, you probably have seen me with my stage name, which of course was just known as Before. Went well for a while. Lockdown ended, then I had to get a normal job now. Obviously the stand-up comedy is not paying the bills just yet. Although, you guys can change that tonight when you give all of your money into the hat, because nobody here has kids apparently, because nobody identified with me, so you guys have a shitload more money than I do. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And going back to the father-son thing, it taught me a lot about my parents growing up. You start to reflect. I said earlier, I realized my parents calling Pokemon pocket monsters or whatever. Number one, I found out years later Pokemon is short for pocket monsters, which was really disappointing to find out that my parents were cooler than me when it came to Pokemon. That is how fucking uncool I was in school. I thought my parents were lame, and I was more lame than them. But yeah, obviously I confessed a little bit earlier that my sex life wasn't the most successful growing up. Sorry. And I like to tell people it was for religious reasons. Every time I approached a woman, she'd be like, Jesus God, no. So that's what I'm going with. And years later, sometimes it takes a while to figure out what I'm saying. I know I speak very quickly. That's the Irish side of me. Sorry, and I've also had 2 beers. Quelle fucking surprise. Also, my French isn't going great. So it made me realize I might not have been the most popular kid in school. Wasn't the coolest. Which has led to trouble sleeping in my later years. Now I think back and I'm sleeping at night and I think, oh, geez, I was such a nerd. The cool kids just to beat the shit out of me. You're trying to get to sleep, you toss and turn the pillow over to the cool side, and then that beats the shit out of you. It's pretty disappointing. But I realized, looking back on my father growing up, what a disappointment I was. And then I told my parents a few years ago, I'm going to become a stand-up comic. And they laughed at me. And that was the most supportive thing they've done in 20 years. And that's all from me, folks. Thank you very much.